President Trump campaigned on the promise to secure.
What we're doing will help their benefits. Legitimate people, as a result of the work of DOGE, will receive more Social Security, not less. I want to emphasize that. As a result of the work of DOGE, legitimate recipients of Social Security will receive more money, not less.
There are some important changes to Social Security set to take effect in just a few days.
These policy changes start Monday and have been billed by the Trump administration as an effort to reduce fraud.
Yes, folks, it finally happened in a move that's sending shockwaves throughout Washington, D.C. They're lighting up social media. President Donald Trump has just signed a massive executive order that could quite literally change and transform Social Security forever.
What we're doing will help their benefits. Legitimate people, as a result of the work of DOGE, will receive more Social Security, not less. I want to emphasize that. As a result of the work of DOGE, legitimate recipients of Social Security will receive more money, not less.
Now, guys, we're literally talking about billions of fraudulent payouts cut off overnight. This is wild. We're talking about payouts that have been cut off overnight, ladies and gentlemen. And illegal immigrants have been banned from accessing benefits that they were never really supposed to get from the very beginning. They weren't supposed to get these benefits. No. And for once, the people who actually paid into the system their entire lives are finally getting protected, guys. But that's not all. In fact, we've got arrests that are already underway. And Elon Musk and the Department of Government Efficiency, they are quietly executing one of the biggest cleanups in government history. And even more shocking than this, guys, I know this is already shocking as it is, right? But even more shocking than this, Joe Biden, you remember that guy, the old guy who was always taking naps in the middle of the day? Joe Biden was caught live being fact-checked by the actual Social Security Administration during his own speech. Unbelievable, guys. Now, this is not just about policy. This right here is about justice, is about fairness, it's about protecting our people. And wait until you hear how this new executive order from the Trump administration ties right into the DOGE dividend refund checks, massive back payments, and even plans to end taxation on Social Security completely, guys. I ask you to stick with me because we have a lot to really uncover today that they don't want to talk about on mainstream media. So I'm going to break it down for you guys so that you understand what's coming down the pipeline and what you can expect. But real quick, if you don't mind, if you're able to see and hear me, just drop me a quick yes in the comments, hit the like button and subscribe. Now, guys, who just got kicked off of Social Security payments? Well, we're going to talk about who got kicked off of Social Security payments. We're also going to talk about how you may actually qualify for a huge retroactive check and why this one order may be the final nail in Biden's political coffin, guys. So make sure to smash the like button. Drop me a quick 47 in the comments down below if you support Trump's crackdown. And I want to dive into the jaw-dropping details of this executive order that President Trump just signed that is absolutely making history. Now, let's talk about what this order unleashed behind the scenes, shall we? Well, number one, we need to talk about the fact that arrests, yes, guys, ladies and gentlemen, arrests are already underway for individuals that were caught committing all sorts of Social Security fraud. So that's one. But in addition to that, a new Medicare and Medicaid fraud division is being added to 15 U.S. attorney offices, guys. But here's the part that the media won't show you, okay? The Inspector General has now been ordered to investigate every single case where people over 100 years old are still, for whatever reason, collecting Social Security benefits, especially those with mismatched identity records. But why? Well, it's because those account for, basically those accounts are a hotbed. They're literally red flags, okay? Those accounts are a hotbed for identity theft and fake payouts, guys. And in a twist that is long overdue, the Trump administration is also considering reinstating massive civil fines. Guys, we are talking about $10,000 or more for anyone caught gaming the system. Hey, this is crazy. Can you imagine getting hit with a $10,000 civil fine? Well, you don't have to worry about it because I know that the folks in my community, you guys are not scammers. Now, in the next segment, guys, we're going to break down the explosive data that's showing how the Biden administration allowed over 2 million illegal immigrants to get Social Security numbers in just 1 year. And we're also going to talk about how Trump is turning the tide in a way that could theoretically reshape Social Security for the next 50 years. Are you guys ready for that breakdown? I hope you are. All right, so this is where the lid blows off, guys, because according to official figures, during just 1 year of the Biden administration, 1 year, get this, over 2 million illegal immigrants were assigned Social Security numbers. Why are they even getting Social Security numbers to begin with, right? And so while you, me, your parents, my parents, our grandparents have paid into the system for decades, millions who broke federal law or in order to enter the country, they were just handed access to your benefits. Like, am I the only person that's pissed off about this? And think about the cost of this thing. This wasn't cheap. According to the Federation for American Immigration Reform, illegal immigration is costing U.S. taxpayers $182 billion a year. Every single year. Not one time, every single year. It just keeps happening. And this includes $66.4 billion in federal costs and $115.6 billion at the state and local level, guys. Nearly 1 million of those individuals are reportedly using fraudulent or stolen Social Security numbers. Now, guys, this is not just theft. This is a direct attack on the solvency of the Social Security Trust Fund. So what is Trump doing about it? Well, you're going to love this, guys. Here's something everyone needs to know. Medicare is not simple. And one way or another, we all have to deal with Medicaid or Medicare, I should say, when we or our loved ones turn 65 years old. Comment down below if you're 65 years old or over. If you're 65 or older, just type a quick 6'5" in the comments. I'm just curious.
Illustrate how Medicaid costs have absolutely skyrocketed since the year 2000. Going through 2023, they have gone up by more than 300%, roughly 350%. We're talking around from roughly $200 billion in 2000 to over $900 billion in 2023. We cannot continue on this path.
Now, trying to figure out Medicare on your own, it's especially difficult. Why? Because the government just likes making our lives stressful. I mean, does anybody agree with me? Anytime you work with the government, it's like, I feel like you guys are just trying to screw with me. But let's be honest, guys. They are not putting people like you and me first. And this is why I recommend Chapter. This company exists because the founders, they saw their own parents getting misled by bad Medicare advice, and they weren't about to let that happen again. And so now they help folks all across the country figure it out. Like Julie from Kansas, for example. Julie saved $400 a year after being stuck in this horrible plan that overcharged her just to see her own doctor. Or how about Jamie from Texas? Jamie got $600 back in her Social Security check. Well, guys, Chapter's team compares every plan available. They don't just push a few, they check them all. And they treat people like you and me just like family. And I love it. I just love that. Like, I don't feel like I'm just a number when I deal with Chapter, and you won't either. So the other thing I wanted to tell you guys is that it's completely free. It's totally free. So no pressure. It's totally free. Just the real help that you need. So if you or your parents are 65, turning 65 very shortly, over 65, give my friends over at Chapter a call. the average senior is saving over $1,100 a year. I'll leave a link to their website down below. It's askchapter.com/Ron, or if you want to call them on the phone, you can dial their number. I'll leave that down below as well. But get this, guys. This new executive order, it's not a standalone action. This is actually part of a broader plan that Trump quietly launched back in that February timeframe. And he did this to cut off every financial incentive for illegal immigration. So I think what Trump did is pretty smart. But let's talk about one of the boldest moves that Trump has made yet. So he took the CBP app, okay? Yes, the same CBP app that Biden used to help illegal immigrants schedule entry into the United States. He took that same app and he flipped it on its head. Now, it's since been reprogrammed to let people self-deport themselves. This is basically a digital one-way ticket out the country. Now, I think Trump's plan is pretty simple. No more money, no more loopholes, no more incentives. So you're either here legally and you're earning it, or you're cut off. And so this isn't just about stopping abuse, ladies and gentlemen. This is also about restoring benefits to the people who actually earn them.
Elon Musk says that the Department of Government Efficiency is on track to save American taxpayers $150 billion.
I'm excited to announce that we anticipate savings in FY26 from reduction of waste and fraud by $150 billion. And I mean, and some of it is just absurd, like people getting unemployment insurance who haven't been born yet. I mean, I think anyone can appreciate whether, I mean, come on, that's just crazy.
I know that was just 1 year. All right. Doge also found hundreds of millions of dollars in fake unemployment claims. Get this, guys. Since 2020, over 24,000 people over 115 years old claimed $59 million in benefits. 28,000 people between 1 and 5 years old claimed $254 million. Nearly 10,000 with birth dates over 15 years in the future claimed $69 million. And in one case, someone with a birthday in 2154 claimed $41,000. Because now apparently we're all time traveling. And yet Democrats are still trying to run Elon Musk out of town. Axios reports that they're launching a campaign to oust him by May 30th on a, quote, legal technicality where Musk's special government employee status can't exceed 130 days. Now, failed vice presidential candidate Tim Walz has been lobbying nonstop attacks on Musk.
My beef is, once you get successful, don't be a greedy and not pay your taxes. But I don't think we should be the party that demonizes someone because they're able to afford something or they're able to work hard and got something. What we should demonize is people like Elon Musk and those people that do that. That's different.
Haley, all right, let's go in reverse cron here. So I'm going to do the last one first.
Thank you. Yes.
Which is the audacity of Governor Walz to single out Elon Musk as like a bad billionaire. When we talk about contributions to society, he's done nothing but help this society, medical developments, rescuing astronauts and more. And yet George Soros, for example, a billionaire that has led directly to the destruction of society, deaths, and yet that's who Walz is calling to demonize?
Yeah, I love that we're starting in reverse order because that really teed me off. Elon Musk. What has this man contributed to the globe? SpaceX, the first time private sector sent people up into space. And then, oh, wait, you rescue the astronauts who have been stranded there for months and months and months. And then you look over at Tim Walz. And what has Tim Walz given us? Stolen valor, a ton of mistruths that were all spoken about and came to light in the campaign, a failed vice presidential run, and rooting against an American stock that, oh, wait, in your state, your retirement fund happens to own as one of the key stocks. He rooted against the Tesla stock. So Tim Walz, we're going to go with the guy Elon Musk, who continually innovates, continually makes lives better, as you look at your little phone and your stock app and cheer every time Tesla goes down.
Cheryl, talk to me about the attention that the left is placing on what seems to me a misplaced target. So they're obsessed now with getting Elon Musk out of there after the 130 days that you can only work per 365. With no attention paid to the astronomical figures I read, the ridiculousness of who we've been paying in the form of waste, fraud, and abuse. Why is there no attention on that and a thank you given to Elon Musk?
How about a thank you for the transparency that he and the Doge team have put out there? You can go onto the website right now. They've got a live tracker for Doge, and it shows dollar per dollar how much they have saved the American taxpayer. That is you, America. This is volunteer work being done by the world's richest man. And instead of getting a thank you, his employees are getting attacked. There's about 119,000 of them. Vehicles are being attacked. Dealerships are being torched. And he is being completely open and honest with all the work that they are doing. In fact, that entire team is a bunch of very wealthy people that could be, I don't know, sitting on an island they bought instead of trying to help the American economy, come back. 36 trillion in debt, folks. We're in serious trouble. And he cares about that. Versus, sorry, most politicians who have never seen a dollar they didn't want to spend.
Yeah, why isn't the headline on the New York Times 2154? Just keep it that, short and simple, representing the bloated waste, the ridiculous fraud we've all been paying for years.
Well, first, I want to commend those people who have not been born yet, who've already started to save. I think they are a financial planner's dream come true. They're doing everything we're told we're supposed to do. Look, this is a hill for Republicans to die on. Republicans cannot for decades say we're against excess spending. We want balanced budgets. If they don't back up Elon Musk and if they don't take the tough votes required to save money and get rid of these programs, go after the waste, go after the fraud, and yes, on Medicaid, even go after the excessive Medicaid programs. These are areas where if Republicans don't follow through on what they promise, Republicans, what do they stand for? Die on the hill of reducing government spending. That's the biggest difference between the parties.
Kennedy, a website update on the IRS. They told Elon Musk it would take 103 days to fix. It was just moving something. He did it in 71 minutes.
Wow.
That's the efficiency that they represent that somehow the Democrats are resisting.
That's why the E in Doge stands for efficiency. and I'm just so confused why Democrats don't come up with their own list. And they don't add to it. And they don't go, yeah, this is not helping people who really need the government's help. If we have people who weren't born yet, who were born during the Civil War, and they're the ones who are cashing checks from the government, that means that your grandma's not getting a check.
Yes.
Or a disabled veteran isn't getting a check because there are so many inefficiencies that have been written into this decades-old code. So one of the things they're trying to do is bring the coding, which is so disparate among all the agencies, up to modern parlance. So, all these systems and agencies can speak to each other, because when they can speak to each other, you can get rid of redundancies. And Democrats could lean into that. Like, let's get rid of the redundancies and make government more efficient at helping people. And they would actually be popular right now instead of pulling in the 20s.
I'm surprised by all those 1 to 5-year-olds that are out in the workforce.
I know.
You're leaving revenue on the table, Kaylee.
Right.
Just wait until you hear what happened immediately after this executive order was signed. So Joe Biden, he basically came out swinging, and the Social Security Administration, they ended up fact-checking Joe Biden live right in the middle of his speech. It was crazy. So anyway, stick around, guys, because I'm going to break down the whole Biden backlash, the public humiliation, and, of course, the 5 brutal posts on X that exposed all the lies as he was still talking, like literally in the middle of him talking. It's crazy. So get this, guys, just 24 hours after President Trump signed the Social Security executive order, Joe Biden stepped on stage in Chicago trying to do some damage control, right? So this was Biden's first major pro-presidency speech, and he didn't hold back. Nah, he didn't hold back. In fact, he attacked Trump's SSA reforms. He accused him of closing field offices, cutting staff, and get this, guys. He even said Trump had essentially taken a hatchet to Social Security in under 100 days. Can you believe this nonsense? Unbelievable. He even told a room full of disabled or disability advocates that Trump's policies were breathtaking in their destruction. So what happened next? Well, I'll tell you what happened next. It was something that we've never seen before, in fact. So while Biden was still talking, the official Social Security Administration account posted a 5-part thread on X, formerly known as Twitter, and it tore his claims to shreds. So post number 1 said Trump has not permanently closed any SSA field offices. That's number 1. Number 2, Trump, 50% of SSA's tech department has not been laid off. They debunked yet another lie. SSA is spending $6.5 million to modernize our phone systems. Number 4, we are building AI-powered systems to improve service, not cut it. Oh, and there was also a 5th one. You got President Trump. He pledged to protect Social Security and also to end the taxation, or the double taxation, as a matter of fact, on benefits. Unbelievable, right? This happened live while Biden was doing his post-presidency speech. So that's right, guys. While Biden was making his case to the public, the SSA was in real time debunking this guy. Like, talk about a mic drop moment from right inside the government itself, right? And it gets even deeper. In fact, the SSA even cited an Inspector General report showing that between 2015 and 2022, $72 billion in improper payments were made while President Biden was either in office or directly connected to the administration. You can't even make this stuff up, folks. So this is your money. This is my money, guys. Gone. Just gone. Now, hang on, guys, because we need to also break down the criticism that's aimed at Trump's reforms, including reports about clawbacks, tech cuts, even senior payment suspensions that are raising some real concerns. Now, listen, guys, while Trump's executive order is celebrated by millions of Americans, there's also some serious criticism that's coming in hot. Now, according to some reports from the Associated Press, and I don't know how many of you guys listen to the Associated Press or not, but anyway, Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, has been executing a major restructuring plan that has some people raising some red flags. Now, let's go ahead and break this down, shall we? So, dozens of SSA field offices are now, for whatever reason, they're slated to be closed this year, right? Not permanently, though, but as a part of a cost-cutting initiative to shrink the federal bloat. So there's also a reported plan to cut 50% of SSA's tech team. Now, this is a move that some people claim could delay service for millions, okay? And the big one, well, that's the clawback program. You see, SSA just announced a change that ultimately allows them to recoup 100% of any overpayment, not just 10% like before. And so this means some seniors, pay attention, guys, some seniors could lose their entire paychecks right up until the government reclaims what it was claimed to be overpaid. Now, is this efficient? Maybe. But is it brutal? Absolutely. Now, the fear is that innocent recipients might get caught in the crossfire, losing their lifeline because of Social Security's or SSA's own internal mistakes. Is that fair, guys? If you feel like that's not fair, please let me know in the comments down below. But there's another side of this coin, and it's a big one. Because if Doge's plan works, if Elon Musk's team really is scrubbing the system of waste, fraud, and abuse, well, ladies and gentlemen, we are already seeing what some are calling a Social Security comeback for certain Americans. Now, of course, thanks to the Social Security Fairness Act, over 3.2 million recipients impacted by some of these outdated formulas like WEP, the GPO, they've already started receiving retroactive checks.
Leader, I've been asking all morning, how the heck did this stuff get passed in the first place? Yeah, and Maria, this is an example of the waste, fraud, and abuse you see at so many agencies. These are not line items in the appropriations bills that we vote on. It's little slush funds that agencies have, even things like USAID. There's no line item in the budget for that. That's something the Secretary of State was taking pots of money and spending on. Look, I call the $9 billion a good start. There is a lot more, but thank goodness Doge and Elon have been identifying so much waste, fraud, and abuse. I think the American people are disgusted by the waste they're seeing of their tax dollars, especially on a day like today.
All right, we welcome to the show and a special interview with Mr. Elon Musk, who, of course, is famed Trump advisor, CEO of Tesla, SpaceX, chair of X Corp. Elon, thank you for doing this. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
I want to begin, but among other things, everyone's attacking you for your position. What are you doing in the government? There was a cyber attack on X today, which shut it down and may have been foreign sourced. Yes. It's a big story. You want to give us a moment on that?
Well, we're not sure exactly what happened, but there was a massive cyber attack to try to bring down the X system with IP addresses originating in the Ukraine area.
Oh, well. So that's your suspicion. Is the website, is the internet up? Is it up yet?
It's up, yeah.
It's up yet. Okay, good. But I just was looking back. Let me see if I get this right. They're setting fire to various Tesla charging stations near Boston. Shots were fired at a Tesla dealership in Oregon. Various nonviolent...
Shots fired, not a metaphor.
Shots fired, yes. Downtown New York, marching against the Tesla showroom. Your stock is way down. You've been criticized left and right.
But look on the bright side.
I mean, why are you doing this?
Always look on the bright side of life.
Yes, I'm an optimist.
Yeah. But besides that,
yes. I mean,
how's your day?
What motivates you to do this?
Was the opera good?
It's tough sledding.
Yeah. It is tough sledding, but I think we're doing the right thing here. There's been a tremendous amount of waste and fraud in the government. When you're part of the government, you saw a lot of that, and there's been, if you look at the Inspector General reports and the Government Accountability Office, there have been many audits that have pointed out that there's a tremendous amount of waste and fraud in the government. In fact, there was a report issued by the GAO, the Government Accountability Office, last year. So during the Biden administration, which estimated the federal government fraud to be $500 billion. So just to be clear, that's not a Trump administration thing, that's a Biden administration thing. So what we're trying to do is get that number down to a much smaller figure, save money for the American taxpayer, stop money being spent on things that I think very few taxpayers would agree make sense. Transgender animal surgeries, or why are we spending money? Why are American tax dollars being spent on this? The president's gone through a long list of absurd things. Why are the 20 million people who are definitely dead marked as alive in the Social Security database? Why were hundreds of millions of dollars of Small Business Administration loans were given out to people aged 11 and under, according to the Social Security? I mean, these must be some very enterprising 8-year-olds,
And some pretty strong 150-year-olds.
Yes, exactly. As the president said, we have an enormous number of people marked as alive who are 160. He didn't know the country was that healthy.
Yes. So demystify this. How do you do it? Okay. How big is your team?
Yeah.
Where'd you recruit most of them from? And what is it that makes you choose, the Treasury or Social Security or USAID? How does it work? Let the public know, please.
Right. Well, we just basically follow the money. We look at the president's executive orders, and we also just follow the money. So we started looking closely at USAID because they were completely violating the president's executive orders to suspend foreign aid, what's called foreign aid, but in our view is a lot of corruption. So what we saw there is just a tremendous amount of money being sent to non-governmental organizations. But actually, this, by the way, is I think one of the biggest sources of fraud in the world is government-funded, non-governmental organizations. This is a gigantic fraud loophole where the government can give money to an NGO, and then there are no controls over that NGO. So they've given billions of dollars, in fact, we estimate tens of billions of dollars to NGOs that are essentially scams.
By the way,
we're trying to put a stop to that. So
I don't want to interrupt, but Secretary of State Rubio just come out. I think he tweeted today. He has accepted over 80% of your recommendations to shut down in USAID.
Right.
So your review and analysis was spot on.
Yes. So I think when people criticize, say, what DOGE is doing, we say, well, which part specifically? Because we put all of the actions of the DOGE team on the doge.gov website and on the DOGE handle on X. So we post the receipts. So it's like this action has been taken, this action has been taken. So when we get criticism, we say, like, of what? Which line do you disagree with? Like which cost saving do you disagree with? And then people usually can't think of any.
No.
So
it's transparent line by line.
It's transparent line by line,
which is quite remarkable.
Right.
And I'm not talking some small checks either, guys. We're talking $5,000 checks, $6,000 checks, even $8,000 checks in one-time back payments. Those are huge. The scope of this is pretty big. In fact, it includes firefighters, first responders, teachers, federal workers, people who were unfairly shortchanged for decades. Is that fair? I think we're starting to see a little bit of fairness, but these people have been screwed for years. And some recipients they're now getting these monthly increases of $1,000 or more. It's real. It's happening, and it's finally hitting bank accounts this month. But what about everybody else? Retirees, veterans, those on SSI and SSDI who maybe didn't quite qualify for the fairness payouts? Is there any kind of help that's coming for those folks? Well, if DOGE delivers the savings that they claim that they can and that they claim that they found, well, ladies and gentlemen, Elon Musk says that a blanket increase for Social Security recipients could absolutely be on the table. But that's not even the best or biggest move that is coming. In fact, it gets bigger than that. Behind closed doors in Washington, something massive is brewing. Trump's allies in Congress have already pushed the reconciliation framework through the first phase. Now, what's inside this reconciliation framework? Well, Trump's calling it his big, beautiful bill. And Trump is pretty convinced that this bill is big and beautiful. And that this thing could actually change Social Security for you, for your family, forever. So let's go ahead and break it down, shall we? So number one, the complete elimination of taxes on Social Security benefits. Now, right now, guys, retirees who've paid into the system their whole lives, they're being taxed again on their money. Is that fair? Should you pay taxes twice? I don't think so. So, retirees who've paid into the system their whole lives, they're being taxed again on their money. Some people, get this, some people are losing up to 85% of their benefits through taxation. What the heck is going on? Well, Trump's plan is to end it. Do you support Trump's plan to end these taxes on Social Security? If you do, put a 47 in the comments, guys. Let's end this thing today. No more double taxation, no more IRS penalties for simply retiring. By the way, I'm always looking for ways to save money. Hopefully you are too. Don't forget to give our friends over at Chapter a call, link in the description down below. But the other thing is we got to talk about this inclusion of the DOGE dividend refund checks. And yes, you heard that right, guys. These are cash back checks tied directly to the savings DOGE is uncovering by eliminating fraud, eliminating abuse, and waste in bloated government programs. And here's where it gets even more exciting, ladies and gentlemen. James Fishback, creator of the Doge dividend concept, confirmed that these refund checks are actively being discussed inside the reconciliation bill. So he went ahead and said, he told the trusted sources, hey, if this makes it into the final package, Social Security recipients will absolutely be included. Now, guys, this means you, your spouse, your parents, disabled members, family members could all qualify for this one-time refund check that's backed by government clawbacks and Doge dividend savings. And guess what, guys? If by chance, if Doge is right, and I think they are right. If Doge is right, we're talking about millions of dollars in recovered taxpayer dollars being redirected right back into your pocket. This is what happens when government starts operating like a business instead of a charity for illegals and for bureaucrats. Right? I mean, who's with me on this, right? And so, but while Trump and Elon Musk are trying to turn things around here, there is a silent war that's happening behind the scenes. And this next part is really where it gets personal. Because if you or a loved one received an overpayment letter from the SSA, you need to know what to do next. And what you do next is critical. Because if you don't act fast enough, you could lose your entire monthly check. That's just the way it is. This is not a drill, guys. Under the latest changes from the Social Security Administration, the clawback policy has officially jumped from 10% to 100%. That's not a typo. I didn't stutter. Here's what this means. If the SSA says you were overpaid, even if it was their mistake, even if it wasn't even your fault, they now have the authority to withhold your entire monthly check until they recoup the full amount. So let's just say you were receiving, I don't know, $2,000. Let's just say you were receiving $2,000 a month. Now, I don't know how much you're receiving per month, but let's pretend, for the sake of argument, you were receiving $2,000 a month, but they now say your benefit should have only been $1,500. And so, and then with respect to the Treasury, for example, the two main recommendations we suggested, which have now been implemented, was that any payments going out of the Treasury, especially the Treasury's main payment computer, which is called PAM, things like a payments account manager or something like that, but it's like almost $5 trillion a year, so about $1 billion an hour, that the payments be coded with the congressional appropriation, and that there be an explanation for the payment. Very basic stuff. And just doing that, we estimate will save $100 billion a year.
You're not really, let me see if I get this right, particularly with Social Security, you're not really changing policy.
No, yes.
You're auditing the fiscal mechanisms to make sure that, from point A gets to point B, and that's where it's supposed to get to. In some cases, it doesn't get there, or in some cases, it may go over there. But that's it's not a policy exercise. You're not changing laws. You're just doing what any business would do in a profit and loss audit.
I think we're really what we're adding here is caring and competence, and there's a massive amount of fraud of basically people submitting Social Security numbers for Social Security benefits, unemployment, Small Business Administration loans, and medical, where those are fake Social Security numbers, or they've stolen somebody else's Social Security number, and we're trying to put a stop to all of that. And that's the number which is estimated to be on the order of 10% of federal expenditures, which is, half a trillion dollars.
It's a huge number.
Yeah.
You're working with the agency heads. You're working with the cabinet secretaries.
Yes.
I saw Howard Lutnick was on TV yesterday saying you were partnering with them. Is that fair?
Yeah. What we do is in consultation with the cabinet secretaries and with their departments. So we're really trying to be we'll refer to ourselves as tech support. You know, we're really helping the department get a handle on things, because what actually happens here is you've got this sort of vast federal bureaucracy, and then you've got a very thin layer on top of the politically appointed officials, and what tends to happen is that the bureaucracy, frankly, is in control. And they largely ignore the politically appointed people.
Why should the bureaucracy?
I'm sure you must have seen that.
I've lived with this twice. I worked for Reagan many years ago, and I worked for Trump in the first term.
Yeah.
It's like a permanent bureaucracy. I might add, it's a permanently liberal bureaucracy.
Yes, very much so.
And it doesn't. It's not a bureaucracy that necessarily enforces or implements presidential policy.
They don't. In fact, they try their best to thwart presidential policy. So the president is the elected representative of the people. And if the president cannot get things implemented as a reflection of the will of the people, then what we have is not a democracy, we have a bureaucracy. We have rule of the bureau, not rule of the people. And that's what we're trying to defeat here, is the bureaucracy and have rule of the people. You know, and as you mentioned, the bureaucracy is overwhelmingly Democrat. So Washington, D.C. was 92.5%, I believe, voted for Kamala. So this is overwhelmingly a deep blue situation.
How do you pick your next targeted agency or department?
Well, we're trying to act broadly across all departments, so it's not just one department at a time. Are you in all of them now? All of them? Pretty much, yeah.
Yes. Oh.
We're trying to make the government more efficient across the board. So yeah.
How big's your team?
We're a little over 100 at this point.
100.
Get to 200.
You're going to get to 200.
Yeah.
Okay. And you're recruiting from where? More or less.
Basically, it's software people, information security software people, and finance. You know, it's basically, finance and technology. I mean, frankly, I can't believe I'm here doing this. It's kind of bizarre, but I kind of think that we've got this enormous federal budget deficit, and it's a $2 trillion deficit. It keeps growing. Our interest payments are higher than our Defense Department budget. That's I think was the real wake-up call for me, was looking at seeing that the interest payments to national debt exceeded the Defense Department budget, and that was only growing over time, which meant if we didn't do something about this, then there won't be any money for anything. We'll just be servicing debt.
And you know how to read an income statement, and you know how to read a balance sheet. You've had some business experience. I'm kidding, but you know about this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, really, I just don't want America to go bankrupt.
So it's a call to action. You're hearing a call to action.
Yeah.
You giving up your other stuff? I mean, how are you running your other businesses?
With great difficulty. Yeah, I mean.
But there's no turning back, you're saying?
I'm just here trying to make government more efficient, eliminate waste and fraud, and so far we're making good progress, actually. So our savings at this point exceed $4 billion a day. Mm-hmm. So it's very significant.
You think you'll wind up getting to $1 trillion?
Yeah.
Of savings?
I mean, unless we're stopped, we will get to $1 trillion of savings.
And that stuff can be translated. I mean, we've been talking, we had Russell Vogt, the OMB director, on earlier, through very rescission authority, impoundment authority. But I believe you said it earlier, it's an audit that will not gather dust on shelves. This is actually going to wind up with real savings, bend the spending baseline down.
Yeah. There have been many good audits, like I said, done by inspector generals and by government accountability office, and they just haven't been implemented. Nothing's been done. I think the GAO identified that there were 17 million dead people in the Social Security database several years ago. It's now 20 million, but nobody did anything about it. I think we can sort of look at this as a complaint minimization optimization. So basically, if the government sends money out to, whether it's wasteful or fraudulent, nobody complains if they receive money, but they do complain if they don't receive money. And the people that complain the loudest are the ones receiving the fraudulent money.
And you're on it.
Yeah.
That $500 overpayment, they can now take the entire $500 back, leaving you with nothing for as long as it takes to recover the full amount. And we've already seen this happening to vulnerable seniors, widows, veterans, and the disabled people who have no idea how to even fight back against this nonsense. Number one, here's the key. Number one, you must appeal immediately. Do not wait. Do not wait, guys. Don't ignore the letter. Don't wait. There is a process, but if you miss the window, your benefits could vanish overnight, okay? And so this right here is where transparency and updates matter more than ever. And this is also why the next part of this story is what brings it all full circle. Because while politicians are arguing over policies, the real voice of America is speaking in the comment sections, in the community forums, and in the town halls. They're not quiet anymore about this, guys. They're not. In fact, let's go ahead and finish with the one group that matters to most of you, the people. Across social media, live streams, videos just like this one here, Americans, we're finally rising up. They're saying, look, we're done watching our money go to fraud and abuse. We support Trump's executive order. End the madness. We need more transparency. We need accountability. We need more action. Retirees, veterans, disabled, we need help, not hardship. People are flooding the comment sections with 47s if they support Trump and Doge. And they're flooding the comments with 46s if they believe that Joe Biden was right to defend his version of Social Security. Some are even sharing how they or their families pay taxes for decades and are still waiting on a single payment. I mean, like, other people are even demanding massive increases across the board, basically saying, hey, look, COLA adjustments are not keeping up with rising costs, skyrocketing costs of living. Not just rising, they're skyrocketing. And guess what, guys? Trump's listening. Doge is investigating. That man right there. He's listening. Doge is investigating, guys, and this is the momentum that we need. I mean, you could be theoretically looking at one of the biggest Social Security reforms in modern history. I believe it. Do you believe it? All right. Well, I think we've talked about cutting fraud. We've talked about retroactive checks. But what is President Trump and Elon Musk of Doge? What are their next moves, right? Well, it could completely change retirement in America forever. Inside of Trump's big, beautiful bill, now working its way through Congress, is one line that's got seniors and taxpayers that is literally just cheering across the country. This right here, guys, this is a proposal to end taxation on Social Security benefits. That's right, guys. So under new law, or under current law, some seniors are paying tax on up to 85% of their benefits, even after paying into the system for 40 years or more. That's just crazy. But Trump's position is very clear. He said, look, you paid into Social Security your whole life. You shouldn't be taxed again just for collecting what you already earned. That's just dumb. And insiders are saying that this is gaining traction, guys. Both House and Senate members quietly rallying behind this idea during reconciliation. Now, if this passes, you could see a permanent increase in your take-home benefits just by eliminating unfair taxation. Isn't that cool? And this is not all that's packed inside of this big, beautiful bill. The Doge dividend refund checks. Remember, originally a concept from James Fishback? Well, guys, they're now being reviewed for formal inclusion into the bill. Can I get an amen for the Doge dividend checks? I mean, seriously, guys. So James Fishback, he confirmed just days ago, if the line item says in the final version of the bill, Social Security recipients will be included. So guys, this means that Americans who have been robbed by fraud, robbed by mismanagement or overpayment mistakes may get a one-time one-time refund payout that's actually based on what Doge has recovered. And this is why we want Doge to win here. Okay? But here's the twist. The resistance from the legacy bureaucrats in Washington, D.C. who don't want Doge making them look bad. That's what it is. There's a little bit of resistance from legacy bureaucrats in Washington, D.C. who don't want Doge making them look bad. So, some are trying to strip the Doge dividend from the final bill before it gets to a floor vote. So I think it's pretty clear that the pressure is, in fact, on. And so that's why your voice matters, guys. This is why your voice matters right now, whether it's through voting, calling your representatives, or simply sharing this video with other people who need to know what's at stake. And speaking of what's at stake, we need to talk about something else. This new policy is shocking seniors left and right, okay? We touched on this earlier, but now let's zero in on what's already affecting thousands of recipients. The SSA's new 100% clawback policy means if they say you were overpaid, even by $200, they can legally withhold your entire monthly check until it's paid back. Real stories, guys. Real stories are flooding in as we speak. Horrible, right? You got a, retired, trash collector in Tennessee got notified of a $3,600 overpayment. His entire check got paused. There was a teacher in South Georgia that got hit with a $700 clawback. She didn't even know it until her bank account came up empty. So if you receive a clawback letter, guys, appeal it immediately. This is not financial advice. This is not the time to wait or hope it goes away. You have rights, but you have to act fast. Now, Doge says, hey, the system is being abused and it must be cleaned. But for innocent recipients, the policy feels like punishment, right? Which brings us to the final chapter of today's story. We have to talk about the fact that this is not politics anymore. This is about millions of Americans that are rising up to the system and demanding fairness across comment sections, town halls, TikToks, live streams, YouTube videos. Guys, the country is split in two. Those who are shouting 47 in the comments to support Trump and Doge and restoring Social Security integrity, right? But then there are others who are still holding the line for Joe Biden and his vision of inclusivity, expanded access, and slow reform. But I think one thing is very certain. The people who paid into the system for decades, retirees, disabled Americans, widows, veterans, they're fed up. And they're calling for transparency. They're calling for justice. They are calling for fairness. A government that works for them, not for the fraudsters, not for illegals, not for wasteful bureaucrats. And so now, with this executive order that Trump just signed with the beautiful bill, the big beautiful bill advancing, and with the Doge dividend refund checks possibly maybe just weeks away, the system may finally be turning back toward the people who built it. Now, guys, let me know your thoughts. But right now, it's your turn. It is your turn, ladies and gentlemen. It is your turn. Do you support removing illegal immigrants from the Social Security system? Do you back the Doge crackdown and Elon Musk's mission to eliminate fraud? And do you want to see your Social Security check increase, not shrink under inflation, fraud, and double taxation? Guys, make your voice be heard right now. Drop a 47 in the comments if you're with Trump and Doge. Drop a 46 if you still support Joe Biden's plan. And no matter where you stand, share this video. I want you to share this video so that others can see the truth behind the headlines, because the whole fight for the future of Social Security is not over. But for the first time in a long time, the people might just be winning. So I just ask that you hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. We'll see you next time.